AI is getting more prevalent in the underwriting side, and it's trickling into claims.
The biggest insurance companies had canceled their drone program just because of that reason.
There are some things that are good about it. There's things some bad about it. I've been in the business a long time. We're getting tired.
To the guy who invented zero, thanks for nothing.
There's only one company that provides E&O and general liability insurance solely to the claims industry, and that's Kaplik. They even have drone and cyber coverages. Download the free guide all about the different kinds of insurance that you, as the adjuster, should carry at cplic.net/adjustertv.
Honestly, for newer people, it makes it easier for them to get exposure to be a desk person because they're learning. They may know how to write an estimate. Now they're looking how to build the components of it. And also you might have people that have been in the roofing or whatever, don't like to be on the desk side, but man, they can go scope stuff all day long. This is what they've done.
Yeah.
And so that they're really expedient at doing that component of the work. So it's a good marriage. That works really well. There's some good components of that. And then after you get some experience with that, you don't have to have years of that. I would think you do a few of them. Then you would look for roles where you can do the complete estimate in the field. So you're doing the estimate, writing up the reports, writing everything up to the carrier so that they can pay the claim. You're not making the decision still, but 90% of the work is done. You're doing 90% of the work. And you want to get to that point. So it's rare in this situation where you take brand new people and they get to go into that. There has to be a very big catastrophic event where you start taking brand new people off the street and shove them into that. And there are cases in history where that happens.
Oh yeah.
Been a part of that is, hey,
lots of adjusters
can you fog a mirror today? Yeah, we're going to put you out there. You look at people going, don't do that. From an IA perspective, it's not a good practice. It really can damage your business.
True.
From a new person getting into the role, it does make your barrier to entry really small.
Yeah.
And so there are good opportunities around that. There are in our industry right now good opportunity for younger people to come into the industry because we have a large aging population of adjusters that are, we're getting old. I've been in the business a long time. We're getting tired, and and you have a lot of retirement. People are aging out, and they pass away, and it's just like it's life.
Sure, yeah.
So you see that there is some really good opportunity out there, and if you're willing to put the time in, and learn, listen, and apply craft, then you'll do very well.
Yeah. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about a little bit more on the tech side of things. Drones have been a little controversial over the past few years. I have an opinion about them, but I hear the companies going all in on them and then they're not going all in on them. I'm just curious kind of what the state of drone usage in property claims is these days.
So it's becoming more prevalent. You're seeing the use of LiDAR, which you use inside, but you use radar on the outside. And there are drones that utilize Doppler technology, which actually looks at the shingle very closely. Those units are very expensive, but that will change over time.
Yeah.
And so, again, when adjusters say, well, that's going to take my job. No, it means I can go out and look at a lot more claims in a day. And I may not need as many adjusters, but I'm able to do a lot more with a tool. The rope and harness guys, it'll be competition to those because it can actually go up and map a roof and see damage, see wind damage. It can do close-ups. There will always be the need to physically inspect because of legal reasons.
Sure.
So, when something is contested, you physically have to go look at it. So there's always going to be a need for that, but the drone allows carriers and IA firms, if they'll utilize it, to be a little more efficient, it's a little safer. I'm personally have had adjusters that have worked for me fall off roofs, and it's just from an employer perspective, even a friend perspective, it's devastating.
Sure.
And so I don't like making calls. Hey, your husband or spouse or significant other has fallen off a roof. it's terrible.
Yeah.
And so if I can utilize another tool that would allow me to make my adjusters safe, or any adjuster safe, that is something that I'm going to look at utilizing. And so carriers look at it that way. That, of course, they're looking at it from not only the safety aspect of it, but it saves them money. I can buy a bunch of drones cheaper than I can buy a bunch of people that will last 10 years. Then you have your legal issues about flying the drone. Are you licensed, FFA licensed, and then do you have a non-disclosure agreement or a waiver from the insured giving you permission to fly it? Generally, those are required. You see a lot more of that. The carriers are accepting it on certain losses. They don't like them always on hail losses, but on wind losses, you can see most of the damage.
Sure,
It works out really well. So
interesting. Yeah, the technology. I had a conversation with a well-known forensic engineering firm about it, and they said, well, things, if it hasn't been ground truthed, then the lawsuits are flying all over the place. Or they reopen frequently. And somebody else told me that one of the biggest insurance companies had canceled their drone program just because of that reason. They're just like 95% of them reopening.
Yeah, and they come and go. You'll have one carrier. It didn't work for us. It could be the way it managed it. There could be a myriad of reasons why it failed. And then you'll have another company, hey, let's try to pick this up.
Yeah.
You've seen this in AI. We talk about AI a lot. AI is getting more prevalent in the underwriting side, and it's trickling into claims. There are some things that are good about it. There's things bad about it. And carriers can, even IAs can abuse it. It's a tool, and as long as you understand the tool and utilize the tool and use it in the correct format, it can help out a whole lot.
Sure.
Will it replace jobs? A lot to be said about that yet. And so I think in the long run, the outlook is if you'll use it as a tool instead of a threat, because we always want to go run and hide because we're going to be replaced.
Right.
I'm sure some things will be downsized so that the need is not as great. However, you still have a big need, and I don't see AI being the know all be all for at least 10 or 12 years, where it's in a capacity that can just solve every problem, and because it's just not there. Yeah. It's an intelligence. It's not doing the physical work that has to be done.
Right.
So, unless it's going out there flying the drones and, we have robots, Elon Musk, if he has his robot core that goes out there and becomes adjusters, that could happen. I don't think we're there yet.
No, it's going to be a little while for that.
I think so.
Yeah. And computers, the promise of the computer since the beginning was to make repetitive tasks simpler and easier, and it feels like for me, like with the advent of the large language models and the machine learning stuff, that is finally actually starting to come true.
Right.
That a lot of things that, because a lot of times when you work first, it's this carrier or that carrier through your IA firm, they'll have, somebody at some other higher level is like, well, we want to collect some data on these claims. So let's just have them check this box or have them fill out this form here while they're at the house or whatever. And then those start to stack up. And next thing you know, you got all these forms and things. Well, I have to fill out this thing and I got to fill out this thing. And I got to fill out this thing. And if you have a system that is a little bit smarter and can help the adjuster to be more effective, more efficient, and miss damage less, or miss in scoping a certain part of the house because there's a prompt like, did you look at the left side of the house or whatever it is, that's a win. As a homeowner who is a consumer of homeowners insurance, I appreciate that. And if the guy that comes out to my house, if I have hail damage, I want him to, I don't want to have to go to battle with I know how to do it, obviously, because I've been as an adjuster for so long, but I don't want to have to. I just want him to be like, my contractor says it's $15,000 and my adjuster says it's $15,000.
We're done.
Boom, done.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
So, we talk about adjusting being a craft and tools and things of that nature. And you go back and look at, I've been a long time.
Yeah.
And so when I first started adjusting, you hand wrote everything. And the big fear, like AI now, was a computer.
Right,
And you're like, okay. And then you look back at that, like, how's a computer a threat? Well, this is a change. It's technology, it's a change. It's going to replace my job.
Yeah.
And, I'm looking back on that. I'm like, oh my God, I had that so wrong.
They said the same thing
yeah.
when we went from a paper file or even just printing out the estimate and turning it in like into a basket in your manager's office to a full digital file. It was a big deal.
It's going to get lost. It won't stand up in court. Yeah, they're hard to gamut. Yeah,
one of the managers, actually one of the carrier managers, cat managers, she was like, one of the things that I don't appreciate about this is that I can't take my red pen and go through your
mark
estimate.
all over it. Well, you can. We just show you digitally how to do
it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. So, but you see the threats. It seems like the technology is always the threat, but we didn't know how to utilize the tool.
Yeah.
And you were like you said, you have all these check boxes and things I have to do. A lot of that comes down from people trying to gather information, when in reality they can go now because of the computer estimating and everything else. I can segment data all day long and get all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. And in a conversational interface, right?
Yes.
Where you just ask it a plain text question.
And I can go dig up hundreds of segments of data. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, that what we looked at as a threat before actually augmented and made more work for me. I just didn't see it that way.
Yeah.
You won't be successful without insurance policy knowledge. Watch this next video to learn what you can do about it.